What's up, YouTube? Jason here with Jason Bytes back, episode numero 67. Oh, that's Cinco el Seveno. I'm just, okay. Either way, this is a series of which I go back over the last month and I answer some questions. Actually, that's gonna change a little bit. I got a bit of an announcement today, so hopefully it doesn't fail miserably. Jason Bytes Back has been running for 67 consecutive months. That's a little crazy to me. And one of the biggest things that I've had for the longest time is a Patreon subscription. I think it's been almost as long as I've had the Jason Bytes Back. So I'm jumping right into this. If you are a Patreon member, I have already paused for December. I definitely recommend you going in and just canceling your Patreon membership. It doesn't actually matter because at the end of December, I'm going to make sure and go through and unpublish my page. You will not be charged for December no matter what. Either way, I have officially moved away from Patreon for numerous reasons. They've had scandal after scandal. They've had a few big deals that, I talked a lot on Discord and on Patreon and stuff like that. It's a good move. In my mind, Patreon is just a separate website. I don't give it the attention. I fell into this thing where I just didn't really like what I was doing. So there's so many different angles to this, but at the end of the day, goodbye Patreon. So for the last time, everybody that was a November Patreon payer subscriber, they will be listed at the end of this video. Plus, after that, before that, I'm gonna give a little bit of a tribute to some of my longest term Patreon subscribers. Got a little list here. So I'm gonna give a little tribute to them as I close everything out on Patreon. And let me make things clear. This is losing money for me. I had to make sure that everything was good on my end as far as the whole X thing and the fine. I had to make sure everything was good before I made this move. But as soon as the opportunity was there, as soon as everything was finished, I just cut ties. I don't want a separate website. I'm done. I don't know how it's gonna work out. I know I'm going to lose a very significant portion of my subscribers, because I am now officially moving over to YouTube memberships. I don't know if it's gonna pop up on this video. I just set it up literally 2 or 3 hours ago. I've been trying to do a lot of integrations, badges, all that other sort of thing. I'm trying it out and I'm not really sure if I got it 100% configured, specifically with Discord. One of the biggest things when it came to Patreon is that the Patreon bot allowed me to, if you get a Patreon member and then they go into to Discord, it would automatically upgrade the role and it would put them into the Discord chats that I actually hung out in and talked. Like there's general chat, there's other things, and sometimes I peek my head into it, but for the most part, I just pay attention to the Patreon chats. And this is not like some sort of like, oh, you didn't pay, screw you. This is like, I get flooded with thousands of people are just like, Jason, spam, this spam, Bitcoin spam. Like to me, it's all garbage. So I just don't go into the garbage bin. So that's one of the biggest things that I need to work out with YouTube membership. So if you are thinking about signing up, I definitely recommend just, give me a month or something before, if you really want to gain access to Discord and you are not already on Discord. I say that because if you're already on Discord, you already have your Patreon subscription rank or roles, then I've kind of grandfathered or just kind of put all that on hold so you're not losing anything. So hey, you don't have to pay anything, you're still there. I like talking to most of you, so I didn't want to like kick you all out. So all of that is good. But if anyone else wants to potentially throw their money away on my fire of a channel, then you can do that. But just keep in mind that if you want to get into Discord, I have to make sure I get everything worked out, which is probably going to be a this weekend thing, just to make sure I get all the integration done correctly. Yes, you will have to link or at least associate your Discord account with the YouTube account to make sure everything is automatic. I do not have the ability or the willpower to go through and manually upgrade people and then downgrade people when they leave. Like everything has to be automatic. So if that's not something you want to do, you don't want to do with their YouTube, that's 100% fine. Like I'm not expecting anything. That was part of the cleansing thing too with Patreon. It's like, how many people forgot like, am I doing what I need to do to actually deserve it? Like, let's just do a reset. So if anyone else wants to sign up, at least they know what they're getting into, and I can start fresh. And even if I'm going to make a fraction of what I had from the Patreon subscription, at least I feel better internally, and then my whole chewing on the entire situation is just done. I mean, it's probably going to suck. You get like 80 or 100 members on Patreon, and then you get like 10 people on YouTube. It is what it is, I guess. But on top of that, I have also updated the default descriptions in the thing down below, in the description down below. So it'll give some links, socials, things like that. And it'll also provide a link to the joining of the membership, which allows you to kind of join and deal with what you want. YouTube takes a much larger percentage. So unfortunately, the root one is like $1.99 or $2.99. I'm sorry. They just take so much money. So to make it worth it or whatever, it is what it is, which is going to add to the whole like fraction of what I normally get. And I totally get that. But for me, overall, this entire move just makes me feel better. Like, I feel like I'm in a much better spot. I had the whole ex-wife thing finally finalized. I got the financing recuperating. I got the Patreon thing with all the scandals and all that, and then the whole separate website and the video. All of that is closed, and now I'm moving over to channel membership. And one of the biggest things that I like about the YouTube membership is the highlighted comments, which I think is going to be a very big focus for me. It sounds really dumb, but when you get 1,000 comments in like a month and you're trying to scroll through and you're trying to see them all, and it's like you can scroll for an hour and it's like you haven't even went through 2 weeks. It's terrible. So moving forward, if this thing takes off, let's say I get enough people that want to ask questions that are members, I'm basically probably going to end up starting out with just member only questions, as long as they're decent questions. And then if I need to fill some spot, I'm going to go back into the just regular comments and probably go through the last few weeks or something like that. I have 2 main tiers with this. I have the Patreon, which is like the $2 or $2.99. And then I have the ableist. The way I look at it is like the patrons are like, hey, we're going to give you money. We support your cause. We think you're really dumb, and we still want to watch what you do and hopefully maybe catch your fire starting abilities in your house. Cool. And then you have the ableist, who encourage me to do more and more dumb stuff. They give me ideas in Patreon chat and in Discord. They talk to me about stupid things that I should probably do, and sometimes I do it. And then, I consider them ableist, and they're probably a bad influence, but that's the second level. There's also a third level, but that's more like if you're just throwing away money, you probably shouldn't do it. Like, seriously, there's no benefit. I'm just going to make fun of you on a video. It's not really a big deal. So it is an option, but it's really those 2 main tiers. So hey, official links, you want to check that out. There's probably pop-ups or whatever, but it is also in the description. Give it a month if you want to make sure all the Discord stuff is all worked out or whatever. But that is my official launch, transitioning from Patreon to YouTube membership. And before I jump into the questions, I also do want to say, part of this wrapping up and everything, coming to the end of the year, etc., stuff I want to move forward to. By the way, now that the wife thing is done, like, I have such a good revitalization of enthusiasm for what I do, knowing that I can invest into the company and I can get into things and actually try to make content that I enjoy, rather than just accepting whatever I can get for free, because lawyers are not charging me $1,000 to $3,000 a week. So I feel really good about the situation I'm in. Yeah, I'm still in the financial recovery stage, but it still feels really good knowing that I can potentially get back to where I was. But I did get a 13900K Intel processor. It's got that integrated graphics. I want to test out a few things with Plex. I want to test out a few things with Unraid. And then once all that's done, I'm going to turn that into my main workstation PC, because I really want to get away from Ryzen, for various reasons. Shipping on all that is all over the board, so I have no time frame. I'm just saying that is one of the biggest things I'm excited for right now that I want to test out, so look out for that. All right, so let's try to kind of get through some of these questions, because I talked a lot in the intro. The first one is from Mike Harris. He says, tighten adjust your extruders. This is about my 3D printing comment, because some of them don't work. I just had to do mine after 2 years of owning my printer, working great again. Anycube for the win, running Anycubic Mega X and Anycubic Phantom. I don't even know what that stuff is. It's resin, but I didn't read the rest of it. I just want to say, Mike, I've actually messed with the tightening, untightening, like cleaning, spraying out, scrubbing them with, like, I've done a lot of that stuff and I still seem to run into problems. So it was a good idea. And it actually did allow my Speed Racer, whatever, the one that I actually like, it actually allowed it to work a little bit longer, but it still broke. So, you know, to be determined. I literally just have to sit down and break these things down and figure out what the frick is going on. So that is definitely a good idea. If you guys have more ideas as far as like what would make an extruder start just not extruding, then let me know, because I've replaced the nozzles, replaced everything in between the nozzles, like all of the tubes are clean. I thought I replaced everything I need, and for some reason it's just not working. So it's got to be something with the thing. You know what I mean? Next question is from Alpha Hydro. This is on the 100 terabyte risk, the BTRFS RAID 6. I don't have the slightest idea why you avoid ZFS, a real file system. I feel like I kind of addressed this in the video, but I will reiterate it here. And I also want to add it's a variable thing, because to me, my situation, what I'm looking for, the things I'm trying to get out of the file system, it really kind of makes more sense to me than maybe it does to you. So BTRF, right? You can build your array, you can convert from 5s to 6 to all different types, and you can add different sized hard drives at any single point. That is why I like the BTRF. That is why I'm avoiding ZFS, because I want to get the most bang for my buck out of my hard drives for data that I am not actually really too worried about. Yeah, I'm trying to save it and I should delete it, but I'm not too worried about it. So in my particular use case, best bang for your buck for the space I have available, for the drives that I have available, that's why I'm avoiding ZFS for now. Moving forward, if I want to do something else and I want reliability and all the ZFS benefits, yeah, sure. I have nothing against ZFS, but for right now, BTRF just fits my situation better. Next question is from Thomas Butchery said with love, have you ever been checked for ADHD? I was diagnosed at 34. The medication helps. Funny enough, not too long ago, I talked to my doctor and he noticed some things and he was like, hey, you need to take this and answer some questions. And he's like, let me try you on some very small doses of ADHD treatment, which should allow you to, focus, because it was some of the stuff that I was talking about. So I am technically trying out different things, different dosages. I've actually tried out smaller doses, mainly because you take too much, you start getting weird. Sometimes I take a full dose and it just kind of makes me go like this and I'm just like a squirrel and I just get out of control. But a lot of the times I just want to be more calm, still focused, but still be able to have the same composure. So yeah, that was a completely recent thing, maybe 2 or 3 months. And I never really believed in it in the past, but I've actually been able to notice that I'm able to focus and complete things a lot better than what I was before. So, I'm not saying everyone that fits everyone, but for me, it is actually starting to help. So I like that. Next question is from Jason Bytes back last episode. Jason, why do you transcode the Plex instead of converting your videos to what you want so you don't have to transcode them when you watch them? Well, Jason H., I understand if you have a controlled environment, you know exactly what you're going to do. You have the extra drive to do it. You want to go through the work of like, I get it. There are situations where what you said makes sense. For me, I basically want to just make everything work no matter what it is and not have to go in and, create alternative copies of everything. Maybe I make a 1080, a 720, different bit rates. Like, I don't want to do that. My entire attraction to Plex was you upload what you got and Plex handles it. Yeah, sure, you have to build the hardware in order to handle it. You have to have the space in order to handle it. Like, there's a lot of things you have to do to make it work, but that's not a big deal. That's fun to me. The attraction is knowing you can do a video and no matter what someone wants to access, whether it's through a phone, a tablet, it's on LTE, it's on a slow Wi-Fi, your upload sucks, whatever it is, every variable, every little option that could go wrong or make things not work the way they should, Plex steps in and adjusts that and allows it to work. So that's why I focus on transcoding, because that's the tool it was meant to be used for. So that's why I transcode. Next question. Dejan, I'm glad suffering with your ex has ended. Thank you very much for the electronics work area. So this is a new thing I've been really getting into. You need much deeper desk. I agree, 3 feet, etc., etc. I actually went through and set everything up, and I completely realized that before I even saw this. I do need deeper desk. I built it for 3D printing. It's not meant for what it was, but for right now, because wood's so expensive and I really just don't want to do it, I'm just gonna have to deal with what I got. They build their own, make their own, redo the space, 3 foot deep, etc., etc. Yeah, so I've actually, I have foldable tables. I put a foldable table over there. I had another foldable table with a ruined top that I just put kind of almost like a pallet on top of, just to put my laser printer on, because I really need to do some stuff with the laser printer. So it doesn't look great, but it's getting more and more functional, which I kind of like. It's like raw dog, oh, that works. Looks like crap, but it works. I like it. It's my style. Pro Engineer says, put it out to your audience for suggestions on how to design your studio, then pick your favorite. Easy. Yeah, I mean, in theory it is, but I've had the same logo for my channel. I designed this logo in 5 minutes in 2016. I've wanted to try to come up with a different logo, but the fact of the matter is I don't know what I want my logo to be. I don't know how to tell somebody to make me a logo. I've tried to have some people send me some examples and I just don't like everything. I even played around with different intros, and I've went through 1,000 intros and pre-things, and I've been trying to mix and match some of I don't know what I want. So when it comes to me redesigning my background, which this is definitely going to be a thing in 2023, I don't know what I want. I'm just up for ideas, little bits and pieces. My biggest thing is okay, if you follow me on Twitter, let's say you follow anybody, any YouTuber, anything out there, if you see them and their background and you see them what they have set up, and you find a nugget, just a little thing that says, hey, I like the way this spot is designed. If you want to screenshot that and post it on Twitter, or if you want to join Discord and kind of post that, be like, hey, here's an idea, just a thought, right? As inspiration, not for me to copy it, then that would be great, because that kind of allows me to pull a bunch of different ideas in and maybe grab some inspiration for one thing, mix it with something else, and try to come up with something that's my own and unique, and maybe at least have an idea of what I want. I mainly just want ideas because I suck at designing. I just know I need to update the damn thing. It's so old. Zach says, why don't you delete older than 1 year worth of data? Most likely you will never get to use it. Yeah, that's on my Blue Iris thing, and no. Next. There's absolutely no reason. I just collected it, and now I'm just kind of want to see if I can keep collecting it. If I lose it, cool. It actually takes a lot of stress off trying to collect all this. But being able to go back 3 years or whatever, just to I don't know. There's no real reason. I'm just telling you this right now. No real reason. I'm just messing around to see if I can mess around, because messing around, I don't know. It's fun. No one out there needs security footage that goes back multiple years. But why not try? Pyramid, bruh. Up to this about you juggling all the data with all these different size discs make my palms sweaty. I feel like you need to standardize your disc size and go with some flavor of ZFS. I absolutely agree. Again, ZFS, the whole thing, my situation, etc. Hey, relax your palms, wipe them, get them clean. Again, this is Blue Iris data. I don't actually care if I lose, right? It's just one of those things, just to see if I can do what I can do. I do want to add one little side tidbit here. When I was building the BTRFS array and adding stuff, when it wasn't very full, I added 30 or 40 gig, and then I went to add one 8 terabyte hard drive. It has been doing that for a week. It's a week. It's at 53% remaining for one 8 terabyte drive add-on. I have found a major flaw in this, and it kind of terrifies me. With ZFS, I don't want to use ZFS because I want to get the most bang out of the buck. You can't add drives to the ZFS. You can't mix drives with ZFS. yeah, it's better, it's whatever, all the things, but you can't utilize the most amount of hard drive space with what you have. BTRF you can. But the balancing thing has taken a week now, and I'm still a week away from adding a single 8 terabyte hard drive. So second doubts are being had. That's all I'm saying. Next question is from Brian Frobber. Want to sell any of the extra hard drives? Absolutely. I am actually selling extra hard drives for super cheap if you go to bnbsucks.com. Just kidding. Seriously, just kidding. That is a super sleazy way to go to the NordVPN discount, because NordVPN actually really helps my channel, especially in my financial recovery situation. And I have recently been able to get NordVPN speeds up to 1 gigabit per second download, 980, give or take some change. NordVPN seems to be getting faster and better, at least in the Midwest. So I definitely recommend checking it out. You get a big discount going to bnbsucks.com, so I highly recommend it. As far as hard drives, I will absolutely not sell old hard drives, because I run them until they die, and then when they die, I store them on a shelf because sentimental value, and I love hard drives. Like, I'm upgrading Loki's drives, and then those move to DVR drives, and then the old DVR drive is going to move to a NAS, and then those NASs, like, it's just a thing. It just keeps going down until dead. Next question is from American Cosworth. Oh, okay, so this is Steve. First of all, he's got a thing, and I'll answer this first thing. Jason needs to throw 100 terabyte to watch his security footage of his dog and trees blowing in the wind. Yeah, I know. I got a lot of non-activity going in my array. Absolutely right. But the one thing I do want to say, Steve, is that, hey, it's been a little weird just sharing some of this stuff in Discord. I know that Discord sometimes get a little bit personal, but I do want to say I'm really happy that you're recovering from the surgery, and, publicly say, congratulations on, well, recovering usage. So for those of you who don't know or don't want to get in Discord to catch up, he was in an accident. Something went through his leg and then kind of sort of went into some other areas. So he lost, very important things in a male's life, and he's been, working to get that recovered. So it looks like things are looking better. So I just want to say congratulations on the recovery. We're all just really hoping for the best for you. I'd say I pray, but that's not really my thing. So, hopefully that works. And if we're at the point of making jokes, hey, maybe you can just go the other direction and not have to worry about it working. I'm just throwing that out there. Too soon? No? Next question. That was way too soon. Building a budget server less than $500. Mikey said, I feel like this needs a 22 reboot. You're absolutely right. I feel like that was a paper build. With like 10th gen now being 3 gens behind, still a really good hardware accelerated transcoder. I might have to look at that again. Maybe a micro ATX, 10th gen, network attached storage type of deal where they use hard drives, but just the server itself, I could see that. Yeah. The good thing is that a lot of hardware is going down. In fact, the new build that I'm doing, I got a Creator motherboard through ASUS, and it was only like $350, which is significantly less than what I normally spend on motherboards. So I feel like things are getting better, except for DDR5 RAM. Screw that. And the last but not least, on the Jason Bytes Back 65, he says, I hope you plan to open a subscriber star. Way better than Patreon from what I hear. Yes. Circle back to the first one. Healthy reminder, if you guys want to check that out, links everywhere, pop-ups, whatever. I don't know exactly how it works. I am actively working on Discord to make sure that if you join, you get the appropriate role upgrade. That way you can get into the Discord channels that I actually hang out in. So that's a thing, and I'm working on it. It's going to be this weekend. I do want to take a moment. I kind of want to highlight just a few, like the very oldest, like real oldest of the Patreon subscribers, and I do want to say thank you. I want to maybe comment about it. First and foremost, I did not know this. My oldest Patreon subscribers is Frank DeMarco, right? September 13th, 2016, $1. I don't even know who this guy is, but he's been around forever, which is kind of crazy. I don't know what, like, who are you? Frank, if you're watching this, post a comment. Like, I don't think I've ever heard, unless you have a pseudo name or something in Discord. I don't know. I've never seen you comment. Don't know who you are, but you are literally the oldest Patreon subscriber there, beating Big Spoon, who is absolutely crazy, $10. He's been there since May 31st of 2017. Big Spoon, a lot of you guys don't know, and this is not a story to be told, but Big Spoon has been probably the biggest help in my life as far as fighting the X. So, you know, he's just really helped me a lot. So Big Spoon means a lot in terms of, it just means a lot. Like, Big Spoon's been there. And then Finn, September 6th, 2017, right? $10 Media Heroes. Again, he's been there for a long time. Finn's pretty cool. He's on Discord as well. Finn, you need to game with us, okay? We want to get you on voice chat so we can talk shit, because that's what we do on game night. Every Friday night, Patreon chat. We game and we talk shit on each other. Finn, you got to join. Like, seriously. I think you would enjoy it. Next up, September 11th, 2017, Parshant Rana, $1. Have no idea who you are, but thank you for being there for so long. Julian Suris, March 15, 2018, $1. Again, I haven't actually talked to you. Steve Fisher, I'm pretty sure I talked to you a lot. In fact, wait. There's been some Patreon. This is one of the things with Patreon. I don't get on there that much, but they message me and then I don't realize I have a message, and then I get in there and I realize I have a conversation pending, but I didn't actually know it was there. Steve Fisher has been there for a while, 2018. Thank you very much for being a long-term subscriber. Scott Locke, aka Liquid Syphilis. You're just a pile of, you know, human feces. So I don't really know what else to say about you. November 18th, congratulations. Yeah. As you can tell, we've known each other for a while, so I have to talk shit because anything else would just be weird. Michael Logan McLean, McClellan, $10 Media Heroes, been there since November 28th of 2018. And I don't know if you have a username in Discord, but I don't actually recognize that name. Anthony Dean, aka Scuba, $5, been there since February 16th, 2019. He's an admin now. Also, I pretty much have to talk crap on him every time I talk to him because that's the relationship that we have. Fun fact, he's on 7 divorces. It's pretty wild. I thought 1 divorce was bad. This dude's on 7. What is wrong with you? Joshua Shoefield, $10 media. He actually does $20 per month, but the $10 was the max. July 7th of 2019. Again, this is a huge contributor. He's helped me a lot throughout everything, and he's also an admin, and I have to talk crap every time that we talk to each other. But he is like super into just buying everything he possibly can, whether or not he can get it to work or not. So we always make fun of him for that on Discord. So that is like probably one of the more fun things, just to see what the heck he's getting into and then whether or not I want to buy it afterwards. Lance Henderson, $1, July 14, 2019. Gordon Hayden, August 1st, 2019. Rougarou, he's been around since August 26, 2019, $1. Dylan Beth, $1, September 13th, 2019. Sakura, $1, October 1st, 2019. The list goes on, but those are all like all the 19s and like into the 20s. Let's see. Matt, Aaron, Chris, Martin, Scott, those are all Decembers of 19, November 19, and then Hops and Brews. He joined very early 2020. So guys, thank you to all of you for have been following me on Patreon for so long. Sorry I had to kind of wipe everything out on that, but honestly, if you're familiar with a lot of the stuff Patreon's been going through and you've been following my Patreon videos, this was a long time coming. I do appreciate you guys following me for a long time, and just bear in mind, a lot of y'all do not need to carry over, because actually some of you are admins now and you don't even have to pay for Discord, but you don't have to worry about the membership thing. So I just appreciate for what you have already provided, and sorry if I, did not live up to the Patreon promises. So that is pretty much it, guys. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, make sure to leave those in the comment section down below. I mentioned it before, but I will definitely, probably, most likely, as soon as this stuff goes through, be focusing more on comments, from members, maybe 6 months down the line, where it's just going to be primarily just answering those questions. Hopefully, if they are real questions and things that actually mean something, that way it makes me sorting through a lot easier. And there's also a stupid high level tier, which I might just dedicate with that tier, that no matter what, as long as it's a reasonable question, I will just answer that one question per month on Jason Bites Back based off of that tier. So, that's just, this is all future Jason stuff, but that's coming. So as always, thank you for watching, like and subscribe, and have yourself a great day. I spent most of tonight, which I don't know. Look at that. Look at that. I don't know if you can see that. This is a new Zoom H8 recorder. I don't want to mess with it too much. So this is a new Zoom H8 recorder. There have been a few videos recently where I had the audio go out. I had to do backup audio. I mean, it was just a big cluster F. Excuse me. I've had this Tascam thing since 2018. So this thing worked really well for a very long time. I didn't want to upgrade it because I spent $400 or $500 on it, whatever it was when I first bought it. And I knew it was going to be like a long-term purchase, but I actually think this thing right here is pretty cool. Like it's got a lot of features. It's got a lot of channels. I have absolutely zero idea how it sounds, but I know the way I just got everything rigged up. I got the camera, the backup, or the microphone, the backup microphone on the camera going to this. I got the microphone here going to this, going to that. I got microphones on that as a third backup. I recorded some videos, so I have to get some adapters to actually try to separate these things, so like less things are dependent on one thing. But hopefully, if all goes well, I really should never have an audio problem again as far as one thing not working, an SD card failing, forgetting to turn it on, whatever. So I'm really kind of excited about that, and I only need like a few like very cheap adapters just to make sure everything works. But that is kind of like one of the biggest upgrades that I have right now. So, and then, well, not the biggest upgrades. The biggest upgrades is going to be the 13900K. I got a Corsair water block for it. I'm going to use that water block with my main system that has the 3090 in it. Eventually, it's going to be my main workstation. I've had Ryzen 5 or whatever the heck I have right now. I've had Ryzen 5 for so long. I like Ryzen. It's good. Coming from Intel with the quick, like, I just notice little things that it's hard to really put into words that makes me consistently want to go back to Intel. And getting into the 13900 with the new integrated graphics, the hardware thumbnails, generations for, or generating thumbnails and previews for Adobe Premiere, like there's little things that Intel just seems to handle smoother. And I cannot wait to get back to Intel for my main computer. So primarily before all of that, I don't want to jump into building a new computer. So I actually want to take the opportunity, run through, do some tests. I'm going to run Unraid on it, but there's some Unraid and compatibility things. But I want to run Windows Plex, some transcoding, probably transcode 4K. Like there's a few different tests that I want to do before I actually turn this into my main workstation. And that is kind of like the biggest excitement thing that I'm looking for right now. So definitely stay tuned for that. If you have any ideas, things that you're curious about the 1300, I don't have a 1200. In fact, I don't even have a 1000 or a 10,000 shy of a NUC. So it's not the same thing, desktop versus a NUC, but I definitely cannot wait to test the 13900K. And it's going to be water cooled. I did not get a new GPU. 4090 is not in the works right now. It was already expensive enough to get 128 gigs of DDR5 RAM and a 13900. So 4090 could come later. Just going to call it that. Okay, that's it.